What is up, Bucs fans? We are back. We're live here on a Tuesday evening. It is March 26th, and man, the offseason is in full swing. We're only a
Let
month
the
away. Yeah, exactly. We're only a month away from the NFL draft, which is awesome. Obviously, Coach Bowles and Jason Licht, Buccaneers GM, they were at the owners meeting today. Some rule changes that we'll probably briefly touch on. But a lot of it was talking about the Buccaneers and, where they stand currently, team needs, all that stuff we'll get into. And then at the end, we'll have a little special treat for you guys as we'll do a little 3-round mock draft to just kind of get an idea of what could potentially take place for the Buccaneers. But with that said, this is Real Bucs Talk. Welcome in. And I'm your host, Michael Plus, joined as always, my co-host, Mark Ramirez. Mark, how are we doing? How is Jaws? How is everything in life?
Yeah, I guess Plus was amazed by my shirt here. This was a shirt I got because of the son's, I guess, shark or Jaws themed birthday. He loves sharks, sea animals, anything, so might as well sport it, right? But yeah, I mean, it's another fun day as we get to talk Buccaneer football and things, little tidbits that they want to give you and have you sway which way or another. And everyone's guessing right now. No one truly knows what's going to happen in the draft. And they may sign someone prior to that. They even mentioned that they should go or maybe will pick up someone. So it's kind of funny to hear his political talk. It's funny to hear it that way. But yeah, everyone in the chat, thank you for coming aboard. Any questions or anything you guys have throughout us rambling, throw them out there. We'll touch on them. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go over. Yeah, the rule changes you talked about, the new kickoff, you can't tackle a certain way, right? But I guess you want to touch on that before we jump into the Buck stuff.
Yeah, we can touch on it. I mean, the tackling thing, I think it's going to be something, but then in the end, it's probably not going to be anything. It's just, I mean, the way the game is flowing and the way they're trying to protect the players. I understand where they're coming from. I also understand the frustration for the defensive players because it's like, how are you supposed to tackle these guys going forward? They're already moving at a very high speed, and now you have to make sure you tackle in a right fashion, or else to avoid that fine that you're probably going to get. So yeah, it makes it difficult. And then the kickoff thing I think is really cool. I think that brings back the need of kickoff specialists. I think it also adds another need for this team as far as finding another returner, because now you can have 2 returners out there at the same time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one shapes up for sure.
I mean, the tackling thing, I mean, no one in our team really truly tackles that way. The only guy that did do it is no longer on the team.
Right.
Devin White's the only one that really tackled high, and then he'd do some little alligator spin move to get a guy down, and that would cause injuries. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, I mean, you tackle them around the ankles, you wait for the rest of your teammates to kind of help. Like, I haven't seen many Buccaneers tackle that way. And then the kickoff thing, I think it's just fun to be innovative that way, to bring something back, because it was kind of stupid and meaningless. You were just expecting everyone to kick it out of the end zone.
Yeah,
it's a wasted play, right? You're taking the fun out of the game. I know there's more concussions and injuries because you're running full speed, but this is more of a way of saying, okay, no, we're going to give you the opportunity, but it's not going to be as impactful, right? They can't pick up as much speed throughout the course of that play. But I mean, I think that's a positive on that one. But talking about the Bucs, there's a lot of avenues they can go, right? And Jason Licht kind of said it best. He's like, well, we know what our weaknesses are and what our needs are, but we like where we sit. We could be moving up. We could sit still. We don't know. And he was saying that extra sweaty today. I thought that was hilarious. We'll show some video of that. But where do you think they're going? Like, what other hints did they give you today?
Well, I think, both Todd and Jason gave a lot of confidence into what we have currently with the team. And I think that's something you have to be excited about. Just knowing that they brought their guys back that they wanted to bring. They talked extensively about the depth pieces that they brought in with Bryce Hall and Tavier Thomas, the corners, and then also the offensive linemen. Really excited about them, especially their opportunity to compete for a starting job and provide that competition. So I think that was really cool. Also, just their overall confidence in AJ Britt,
Yeah.
that really showed today. Confidence in what they have at the edge position, and also talking about, um, unique pieces, or what's the word I'm looking for that Todd used today with the guys that he can move around, like
Call them
y-
chess pieces. Are we
yeah,
called them?
pieces. There you go. So Antoine Winfield, Levante David, he mentioned, but the intriguing ones were JTS and also Zion McCollum. So
Yeah.
those guys being able to move around, and then, speaking on the younger guys like Marquise Watts, who we did a video on Marquise Watts and Jose Ramirez, just talking about they could be potential, players for pass rush out of this group in case the Buccaneers can't add what they want to at that position, throughout the rest of the offseason.
And that's stuff that we've been talking about nonstop on Real
Mhm.
Bucks Talk. If you guys listen, we've been touching on that. It's not like it's any secret. Like
Right.
we're telling these guys are something we find valuable and we want to put them out there. Is that the reason why they let Shaq go? Right. And is that a reason where if there's not an edge rusher in this draft in the first round, they're
Yeah.
okay and comfortable doing that? That's why I was kind of thinking that they may just find a veteran and run it with the young guys that they have because of Luke Gedeke, Tristan Wirfs telling them in practice, holy crap, these guys are flying around the edge. Like
Mm.
this is harder than the game right now. So like we've seen it in practice, preseason, but it's a whole different story when it's live game action. But I wanted to touch on because I don't have it in the little video clips that I have about the
Mhm.
chess pieces of everyone knows Antoine Winfield Jr., all pro.
Yeah.
Beast, he's going to get his giant contract, not his bag. He's going to get a giant contract. And then Levante David has just been Mr. Consistency, should be an all pro every year. He's borderline a Hall of Fame career already. There's the two names of JTS, who he isn't a fan favorite. A lot of people don't like him. He lost his starting job. Ha ha ha. That he did well deservingly, that people think. And then Zion McCollum, the up and comer. Everyone's already penciling him in as the starting corner next to
Right.
Jamel Dean. I want to break down both those two guys before we kind of jump into all the other news.
Mhm.
JTS was the big one, right? Because no one really thinks of him that way. But this is another thing we always talk about. They just ask him to do so damn much.
Yeah.
He's always dropping back. He's never truly being an edge rusher getting after the quarterback. And that's to me like, does that hinder him in the way that like Hassan Reddick was hindered in Carol or in Arizona, and then
Mhm.
when he was unleashed in Philadelphia? Because if you look at his Arizona numbers, they're piss poor. I don't think he got
Yeah.
more than 5 sacks. And then the second gets to the Eagles, he gets 10 plus. So it's like,
Right.
are they asking JTS to do too much? And then if he gets away from us, he's just going to turn into a that guy?
Yeah.
Or is it just he is that vital to help everyone else around him and his numbers hurt because of that?
Yeah, it's one of those like catch 22 things almost. It's you like his ability to what he adds to all those positions that Todd Bowles talked about. I mean, you're talking about JTS rotating from not only edge but also playing inside linebacker. He plays three tech. He plays nickel at times where he's guarding the slot. He does so many different things for your defense. He's also playing five technique at times.
Yeah.
So it kind of does hurt him from an aspect of getting those pass rush reps that you would like to see him more, you know, getting those opportunities, because when you do look at his true pass rush numbers, it is pretty good. He is winning majority of the time. It's just, finishing for him. But he is creating those pressures. He is getting after the quarterback. It's just, he's not going to be ever probably a true number one, but I think just if we could see him get more opportunities to just be a pass rusher, maybe those numbers change and maybe we get a different perception on him. But right now, the Buccaneers like what they're doing with him, and
Yeah.
maybe that is his best asset as far as just moving around, doing different things to help the defense overall. And I think that's how Todd Bowles sees it.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't really heard him complain, JTS, at
Right.
all. And
Yeah.
it's higher praise coming from your head coach, who is the defensive coordinator, saying that, yeah, those guys are the guys I rely on because they do so damn much. They
Yep.
can do anything. when I ask him to do it. And yeah, he's like, yeah, he doesn't get the sack numbers, yeah, but he's still getting pressure, and sometimes sack numbers are just because the ball got out too fast.
Yeah.
You can't blame him for that, right? So that was the big one for JTS. And will he ever get primarily edge rush opportunities? I still don't think that'll ever happen because of up and comers like Yaya, Marquise Watts, now
Right.
Jose Ramirez, guys that are true gifted guys that get after the quarterback naturally. Like JTS was never truly a natural edge rusher. He has a whole lot of athletic ability,
Right.
long lever arms. He's just not overly big, as in like just stature wise.
Yeah.
But he just does a lot of things well. He just doesn't do one thing amazingly great, right? I mean, that's not to knock him. He does a lot of things for your defense, and he could fit in anywhere, like he just said. And then Zion McCollum, I thought was also cool because we saw the way he used him against the Eagles at home in the playoffs. And yeah, like with that said, I don't know if we can just pencil him in as the starting corner because of the way it can be used in a wide variety of ways.
Yeah.
I know it hurt Winfield a couple of years ago when he was used way too many areas and his numbers didn't look the best because of that.
Right.
And look what happened when they left him at free safety to stay there, do your thing. He has no first season. So what's your take on Zion?
Well, Zion's interesting because, again, they utilized him, at safety. They utilized him at outside corner, played some inside at nickel. And, for the most part, he looked pretty good in all three faces, like as far as, playing those positions. It didn't look lost or anything like that. Didn't seem uncomfortable by any means of that realm. So I think they're going to try to let him, burn at corner 2 on the outside and see what happens. Obviously, you brought in Bryce Hall for a reason. You brought in Tavierre Thomas. So those two guys can obviously push, your current starters. And maybe you bring out something more than what you haven't seen yet from Zion. And that'll be a good thing. If anything, it gives you flexibility to put Bryce Hall out there on the outside and move Zion around if you want. Again, there could be certain packages where they say, hey, here's 15 plays. This is how we're going to run it. And really maximize your pass defense from that aspect. And maybe use Jordan Whitehead as a middle linebacker to an extent, which would be pretty crazy, where the Buccaneers have shown some of that in the past when Whitehead was here. And maybe that's what you do to really get your best 5 cover people on the field to maximize your front as well.
And I think like the Hall edition, he almost steps in to be like what Zion McCollum was, like a guy that's able to be a starter.
Yeah, he's taking over that Sean Murphy bunting role. Yeah. That's what he's going to be. And I think that's a very smart move because the more you have there, obviously it makes things better for your defense. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Buccaneers draft a corner at some point, throughout.
Yeah, again, it's a loaded corner draft as well because there's so many damn good wide receivers.
Right.
But let's go into some of these little tidbits that we heard today at the owners meeting. So let's jump into that.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so Todd, let's hear a couple things. Todd was talking good. I mean, he had a 30-minute conversation with the media, so that he was talking a lot of good things. Again, a lot of on our players. So check it out.
Where he is, you're always looking for that 15 sack guy, and sometimes that's just a shot of luck. Sometimes you get back there and the ball's out, and we have a great deal of confidence in Watts becoming a more complete player, obviously. And we still have Cam Gill, we'll see, and then Ramirez, but we're looking to get better. We can get better from a game standpoint and helping those guys out too. But if we had to play, we know we can play, but we're always trying to upgrade the sack total. What each other's going to do. They like I said, they both communicate, and that communication on defense for us is everything. And if you have one in the back end, one in the middle, and one in the front, which we have all three now, I don't know if we had that last year. I thought Wynn was communicative, but Jordan was like vocal. Obviously, he had more years on him at the time. Him and Levante just clicked, and we're always on the same page. So we just look forward to rekindle that and pick that up and just be more communicative on the back end.
All right, so let's talk on those two big talking points. So something you did a video on, Marquise Watts, Jose Ramirez. Clearly, not just Jason Licht, Todd Bowles is voicing the same opinion that these guys are showing up and they're giving us something to get excited about and expectation wise, like we want them to take that next step. and they're just doing nothing but making us put them on the field, right? So
Yeah.
high praise yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll bring up the depth chart here real quick. And you just look at, there's Marquise Watts right there, currently slotted in as the backup to Yaya Diaby. And then you have Jose Ramirez over here behind Anthony Nelson. So, just two young guys. They're both 24 years old and offer a lot of upside. We saw Marquise Watts last year in a limited fashion, really came on at the end of the season, just showed ability to really get after the quarterback, showed advanced pass rush arsenal as far as plan goes. He did a lot of different moves that he could come up with and win in different variety of ways. And Jose Ramirez, we kind of got, shorted out on because he got injured throughout training camp and really couldn't really see him like we probably wanted to throughout the season. And, so that gives him an opportunity to really step up here. And that should be a lot of fun to see how these guys play. But yeah, just two young, promising players to go along with your other high draft picks and Yaya Diaby and also Kalijah Kancey.
Yeah, I mean, it's also telling, like Jose Ramirez, it's almost something we mentioned that it was going to be like a redshirt season for him, right? He's coming from a smaller school. He's already having to take the jump from small school to NFL,
right?
Getting his body right. Now the health, because he got hurt in preseason. So it was almost like they were hiding him in preseason because he didn't really play.
No,
like,
I think he had one snap and that was it. And it was a good snap, I believe. I think he did get a pressure on it. So yeah, very intriguing to see what they become. And now all these guys have full NFL off seasons too. They don't have to train for the combine. You don't have to do any of this, stuff that they were doing for the draft, and really work on their bodies. And I know this wasn't mentioned in the video, but they also talked about Cody Mock and his ability to transform, which I think is going to be great. He's really going to take a step forward. And really the whole draft class, I think you have to be excited about. But these two guys, 6th round pick and an undrafted free agent, could be, something that we can count on potentially for pass rush, especially even in a rotational role where they're asked to come in for maybe 15 to maybe 20 snaps and maybe make a difference as far as affecting the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, let's see, because Marquise Watts, if you hear some of his interviews, he wants to take a massive step forward. Like,
yeah,
he was like one where he's like, I just need to know the playbook. That's what I'm doing. I'm devouring that, and I'm going to come back and show that I can be an edge rusher in this defense. And that's cool to hear. It's not just confidence, but like his urge to be a good player, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants an edge rusher because, that's the big sack number guy. And if you're not getting after the quarterback's throwing all over you. So I just think, like Todd Bull said it earlier, like we're going to find ways to manufacture the number of quarterback sacks. Doesn't necessarily have to be an edge rusher. You don't want it to be Vita Vea every year. But, I mean, that interior pressure is where it's at because everything's going to have to cave in, and then those edge rushers get easier matchups because of that. And if you have speed guys like Marquise Watts, Jose Ramirez that can win one-on-ones, it's only to your benefit. They're just getting lucky with these draft. Well, I guess you can't say it's luck. Jason Licht just knows what he's doing, right? Undrafted free agent in Watts, and then drafting Jose Ramirez late, 6th round, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you have to give them credit, for going out and finding these guys, and you can't have enough pass rushers. Obviously, that was a topic of discussion today at the owners' meetings, and both Jason and Todd talked about how that area has to improve. It was mentioned as far as like 3rd and long situations has to get better, get off the field more. I think he also just talking about, situational football, 2-minute defense, that was a big factor. So yeah, definitely they know, like you said, they know their needs. And obviously the first one is edge, and then looking at other needs, which would be interior offensive line. They feel like that's going to take a step forward. And just really rounding out the team, and certain things can definitely improve, and they feel like that is on the way up. Even talking about Liam Cohen and like his coaching staff getting together, not letting him out of the room. Like Todd has to go let them out to take a bathroom break. I mean, you talk about commitment, and that's something we talked off air about Liam. He's got to really, know when to take the foot off the gas, but he is full pedal to the metal. Which you have to respect it.
Yeah, what Mike's talking about is, so when I was digging around with Liam Cohen, like I was like, okay, there's a lot of good, a lot of good. Everyone has something, right? And the guy supposedly blacked out, had to get taken to the hospital when last year in Kentucky. And I was like, what the hell happened? Do you have a heart attack? Do you have a stroke? What happened? And it was just him stressing too much, like pushing the gas, like Plus just said, too damn much, putting it all on football, not worrying about his body. And probably either had like a stress breakdown or just his body gave way and said, you need to look at me. But yeah, he's a guy that is fully devoted to the craft. Yeah, but yeah, Todd Bowles and BA were good with balancing the two. Like when you're at work, be at work, but once you leave, be with your family.
Right.
That's one cool thing where they have that. And it's not just, oh, business. I'm gonna be a butthole. I'm gonna say it nicely, behind closed doors, right? And say something else, right? But I mean, I think Todd Bowles is good in that fashion. A lot of people don't give him the credit because he's not very, I guess, energetic with the way he talks.
He's got a great laugh, man. His laugh was on point today, just talking about, what does it take to win a playoff game? And he was like, the score, which was rightfully so. And he has those little remarks where it just, it makes you, it gets you, right? There's the little jabs that he brings in at times, which is really funny. But yeah, I think Todd does a great job of being a leader. I think he's really stepped up his game there and making sure guys are accountable. Yes, he's not the flashiest. He's not BA. He's not going to say things out of the, just out of the realm or really, put his players out in the forefront, like chew them out, publicly. He does that behind closed doors. And so, yeah, I've gained a respect for him. I think he's learned. I think things have gotten better with his processing. So that's a good step forward. And I think he's really excited about this team that he has. I think he knows this is finally his team, right? He's putting together his staff. Just a little, and I know we're kind of going off topic here, but just the little things that he discussed with, adding a new tight ends coach. They brought in Justin Peel from the Falcons because he can get these guys to block better. And I think that's huge. And, obviously trying to improve that run game. He moves John Van Dam over to the passing game coordinator role where he's got more of a background there. So it just, those little things, those little details are going to be huge, moving forward in this offseason.
Yeah. John Van Dam was a former quarterback. Now
right.
Getting him to be a passing game coordinator, that'll help.
Yeah.
And then you bring in an actual guy that played the tight end position.
Yes.
Who has coached Pro Bowl tight ends before in the past. So, yes, smart moves all around.
Right. And you take him from a division rival on top of that. So that's, added benefit for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. So, like, that's when we mentioned, we're like, holy crap, this is like almost an upgrade from last year. I mean, on paper, yes. Let's see what happens when it comes to the season. But, like, you just see experience coming from these new coaches as opposed to you just didn't know what you're going to get out of Canales and Brad Idzik, but they still came together and made a pretty damn good roster with what they had.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see what happens moving forward. But, I mean, we're pretty confident in what they're doing right now. But let's keep hearing what Todd has to say. There's plenty more tidbits here. Let's go jump into it. Oh, not that one.
Oh, yep, wrong one. There we go.
Well, we're not running a 40, so he's a football player. You got to get around him to use your speed. KJ, what he lacks in the 2 steps in the speed department, he makes up for being in the right place and understanding the game. So you can play fast and not be fast, and you can be fast and not play fast. So KJ is one of those guys that not very fast, but he plays fast. So we're comfortable with that.
Okay, I'm not going to keep going on. I want you to divulge and break down exactly what the hell he means by KJ Britt may not be fast, but he plays fast. Just because you run fast doesn't mean you play fast.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's good because KJ is a guy that plays with his instincts, right? He is, film study. He knows exactly what his job is, and he tries to do the best he can. It's not trying to do too much. It's understanding your limitations, but also understanding what your role is. And he did a really good job, I thought, in the last, the second half of the season. And he ended up getting a lot of tackles because, again, he's just in the right spot. He knows where to be. Now again, he's not perfect by any means, but he's for the most part he's there where he's supposed to be. And then obviously he was referencing, I wasn't said, but he was kind of talking about Devin White and how, Devin was a sideline player versus KJ Britt's a downhill guy. And Devin at times liked to, take liberties within his job description, and it just didn't work out from time to time. Like, Devin's a hell of an athlete, but he wasn't always in the right spot. And I think that's where he's trying to say with KJ Britt, KJ a little bit more consistent as far as where to be.
Yeah, and it's also the clip that we had before that, with Jordan Whitehead being in the back.
Right.
The communication, but not just that, but being in the right spot. Lavonte David said that in his press conference. Like, he just trusted Whitehead to cover him if he let a guy go behind him, right? A lot of what I was saying, I think Jordan Whitehead made up for a lot of mistakes that Devin White made throughout his time here. And he leaves, and all of a sudden, Devin White the last 2 years didn't look like the Devin White during the Super Bowl season and just during his time with Jordan Whitehead. So, I mean, some of this, yes, I'm not going to say Jordan Whitehead's all pro and he's the best safety, but he just did his job. And that's telling for a defense. A defense, you're trying to limit the mistakes. You're trying to cause mistakes for the offense and limit the gaps so they can have an easy throw, right? Just make it harder. And if you're being Mr. Superman trying to make every play yourself, you're 1 of 11. You can't do that. And you may be trying to get your money. I'm not going to say that damn bag reference, but you just got to play within the scheme and within the team. And Devin White didn't do that at times, even though he made some flashy plays. Britt doesn't make the flashy plays. He just makes the right play, and it's consistently doing that. And that's what we want 11 guys doing, running to the ball all together, same goal. And I think that's what Todd Bowles is kind of saying with that in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the defense, and this is something we talked about numerous times, but you look at the defense and how it's set up. Look at who your best players are, where they play. So your best players up front are Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey up the middle, right? And then behind that, your best player is Lavonte David. And then behind that is Antoine Winfield, who's also a cornerstone. So this scheme, it funnels everything to those middle guys. It's for those guys to make the plays, those guys to be the stars. And that's what you're looking for. So if you can have a guy like KJ Britt and Jordan Whitehead to be just solid and do what their responsibilities are, guess what? Those guys eat because they continue to get the stats. They continue to make the plays because everything is funneling towards those players. Now, yes, it helps to have, awesome edge players as well. And you feel confident that Yaya Diaby could become that guy. I mean, Jason Licht talked about him and Kalijah Kancey being dominant players, or at least on the track to become that. So I think that's what you're looking at. And now you have consistency at the linebacker and safety spot. And that's going to be a big thing for this defense.
Yeah, huge. And like you just said, everything's funneling to the middle. The middle linebacker, sometimes it goes off cuff. There's completion middle of the field.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you want us to play man on the middle, on the outsides, right?
Yeah.
Again, they're funneling to the middle. So if you're playing man and they're running into a hole because there's no one there in the middle of the field because they're going after a play action fake or they're trying to run after the quarterback, things happen. So that's why you have to play together. It's not just, oh, it's Colton Davis's fault. What an idiot. Trade him. Not necessarily always that. It's a team game. If you learn anything from what Brady said when he was here, it's the ultimate team game. I mean, if you didn't know that prior and he didn't instill that enough when he was here, keep listening. But let's keep hearing what Todd has to say about this team moving forward. Todd, take it away.
Surprise we look forward to him to being a very good football player. Along with KJ and Lavonte, he's right there. I think he's a heck of a pass rusher. He's one of our best zone droppers, and he has a feel for the game. So we got to keep him healthy to stay on the field, but we're really looking for a big jump for him this season.
That's another one. Another young, youthful guy in his limited time on the field showed up, right?
Yeah.
That Colts game, I was like, holy shit, leave him in. Devin, stay down. But yeah, he just Lavonte was out. He was filling in for Lavonte. That was he played outstanding in that game too. So
yeah, no, Servassier Dennis, I think JJ Russell, those guys you have to be excited about. I think you have to be excited just for this draft class in general from last year. I mean, it was when you look at it top to bottom, it was an A+ draft so far. I mean, you're hoping things continue to trend forward and trend up, but to get the guys that you got, obviously they're expecting play level to raise from, Payne Durham, Trey Palmer, all these guys to really, up their level of play. But yeah, Servassier, you have to be excited. And that'll be a competition, between him and KJ Britt as far as who gets on the field, who's going to be those backup linebackers to the starters. So yeah, really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of good, interesting training camp battles. And it's crazy. We're almost halfway there. So we're going to be there pretty soon.
Yeah, time is not slowing down. It's just speeding. It's crazy. Let's keep going on. Oh, now we got the man himself, the legend.
Yep, the beer sweats.
Yes, check out the sweats, guys. It's borderline gruesome, but check it out. The man himself.
I mean, what depth are you seeing? Well, a lot of receivers. We're talking about it. Running back, offensive line. It's a great draft for these positions. I think you should be able to find some good players throughout the whole draft at those positions. But I am.
All right, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta love him. You gotta love him.
Yeah. How can you not love Jason Licht? I mean, the guy is just sweating a pound of water. It's just crazy. But he must not like his suit. You gotta get back into the polo t-shirt. But yeah, that was interesting for sure. But what he said is, obviously looking at the depth at receiver, running back, interior offensive line, I think all those positions they're going to attack. It just depends on what round and how soon do they go after those spots. But I would say definitely offensive line, receiver, potentially probably in the top 3 rounds, I would think. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. But with that said, be sure to stay tuned till the end of the show because we're going to do a 3-round mock draft. Also, if you guys haven't, be sure to hit that like button. We appreciate all the support. Leave us comments of what you think, what you're looking for future videos. Give us ideas, and we'll definitely try to do that for you. But we continue on. But nope, wrong one. There we go. We continue. We continue on. Obviously, yeah, Jason just talking there, and I hope he's feeling better with all the sweating he was doing this morning.
He's going through a cleanse.
Yes,
clearly. Yeah, but like he just said, receivers. Everyone's talking about how many good receivers are in this class. You have your top 3, which we aren't going to get anywhere near close to getting any of those guys, and Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors, and Romaduze. But after that, you don't know. There's a whole bunch that are almost around the same caliber of player.
Yep.
And it goes for 15 deep receivers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, they've already met with 2. You see here, via Pewter Report, they met with Keon Coleman, the Florida State receiver, Malachi Corley. So those are 2 potential, second rounders that they could look at, at pick, the late second round. So yeah, definitely have receiver interest, I would say. And obviously so, like you were saying, it is a deep class that has a lot of potential options.
I was honestly surprised to hear him say running back is a deep class because it's not really top heavy in this one. It's more of a lot of, I guess, average guys because no one really blew away. Everyone just got blown away by the wide receiver speed, right, and stuff like that. But running back, I was surprised here. Offensive line, yes, loaded class of linemen.
Yeah.
Everyone was either a freak size-wise or freak athletic-wise. And yes, pluck away if we can get one of those. But again, this is something Plus and I talked about. Jason Licht is money in the second round for offensive linemen. So I'm thinking, do they just go best player available first round, whether it be a weapon, whether it be best defensive player available, or potentially Plus's guy does fall into his lap. I'll let you say who it is, or do they trade up with that extra third they got because of Carlton Davis? So there's so many options that Jason Licht is sweating over. And
yeah,
I think he's confident in what he's going to do. It's just on that day, what happens? Who's going to call or who's going to fall, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason Light talked about, having the patience of, wanting to trade up, but making sure you do it at the right time. Making sure it's not giving up the whole draft for, one player. So just being smart about it, being able, and I think he discussed there's going to be potential for, a really good player to fall to them at 26. There could be a couple players that they think they have to trade up for, or they could trade back and gather more picks. I think Todd Bowles also mentioned that he feels confident that there could be a very good defensive player available because of the quarterbacks, the receivers, the offensive tackles, like we discussed, going early, and that could push a very valuable defensive player to their laps. And obviously, I think they're hoping it could be a pass rusher to fall at 26.
Yeah. Well, don't give no names yet. We'll wait for that.
Yeah, we'll wait for the mock draft, and we'll start that in a few minutes here.
All right. I think there's only one more clip here. So Jason, take the stage. Don't sweat on us. Let's get it.
We all are really excited about Marquise and for Jose. Anthony obviously is there. He's been a steady force there. But some of those young guys were giving our tackles a lot of trouble during the week last year, and they talked to me about it all the time. Tristan and Luke were, this Jose is going to be something else. So I'm excited to see him in camp this year. Last year he was hurt, so it'll be fun to watch him.
There you go again. Your GM, your head coach, both giving name to credit right there. Marquise Watts and Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Really excited to see this Jose Ramirez guy, right?
Yeah. So it's just, more praise for both of those guys. And Jason really has been talking them up all offseason. So I think that is really a key thing to look at, especially going into the rest of the offseason and just knowing that they feel comfortable with these two players and their ability to hopefully become complete players. I know Bowles mentioned about Marquise becoming more of a complete player, especially against the run. And also in the pass rush game as well. So, yeah, you have to feel excited about those two and see what else they can add. And I think definitely they're going to try to add another pass rusher in there to the mix. It just depends, can they get the right one that they're looking for.
Yeah. And then don't reach. You always get the best player available. Like Jason Light has got this down to I mean, they're going to be competitive players. They're going to be guys that play key roles, or just they fit the mold of what a Buccaneer is. Like he mentioned with Devontae David being that type of guy that they try and draft and emulate.
Yep.
And yeah, he's not missing big for that way on a lot of his picks. Like even Logan Hall, like even Todd Bowles mentioned it today. He was like, I'm hoping that those three can be a good, formidable defensive tackle front of Elijah Kansas, Vita Vea, and Logan Hall. He threw his name in that three mix. And I had to agree. I'm like, he didn't look bad. Put it that way. He improved. He didn't jump up to like what people expected out of the first pick in the second round. But I mean, he's filling a role.
Yeah.
If you expect
he's making progress.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
you couldn't have. He could have gotten worse, but he got better.
Yeah,
so
he did. I mean, you hope that he continues to get better and makes those steps. But guys, with that said, we're reaching around the 40-minute mark. We're going to jump into this mock draft here. We're going to do 3 rounds. Let me bring it up here, and we'll get it, making sure you guys can see that clearly. Let me make sure I have this. I'm going to zoom. I guess 150 is good. But yeah, so we're just going to do, the Buccaneers picks for this one. We're going to do 3 rounds and see what happens, but I'm going to go ahead and start it up and let's see what we come down to. And then we'll just discuss it and see what happens, who's available. Oh, so your boy just got picked or picked before.
Oh, no.
But, we're still sitting pretty good. We got Jackson Powers Johnson. I know that's a very popular name. Let's see who else we got. We got Tyler Nubin. I don't think we'll take a safety now because of Jordan Whitehead. Doesn't look like there's any really pass rushers here. I guess Latu, let's see all the pass rushers, I think. Yeah, so Latu went to Seattle. And then I think Jared Verse, at 12, Dallas Turner at 8. So pass rushers win and gone.
Cooper did
So
too.
Yeah, did Cooper DeJean go too?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, really, with these options available, you could look at like Kool-Aid McKinstry at corner if you wanted to go there. Zach Frazier, obviously Jackson Powers Johnson, probably the slam dunk pick here if we want to go with an interior offensive lineman. I mean, is that where we're heading? It looks like.
Let's just put proof to pudding here. Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, like they mentioned, we know what our weaknesses are. We know where we need to improve.
Right.
Interior line is an area they need to improve. You got your bookends on your tackles.
Yeah.
Interiorly, yes, you have Cody Mock, who you're saying is getting better, but you didn't name anyone else. And then you said there's a whole bunch of guys looking for competition in there that you signed. They're given opportunities. But if you got a guy that falls into your lap that you think is good enough to just be a plug and play guy, whether that be take over for Robert Hainsey at center, because Jackson Powers Johnson is a center, but he's also played left guard, or you fill him in at left guard and leave Hainsey there. You have a guy like that sitting right there in your lap. He reminds you of Ryan Jensen, a mauler, a type of guy, massive individual. I think that's an easy pick. I mean, bearing who else is there, I don't know. Like, I love Johnny Newton big time, but to me, that fills a massive hole and helps your running game.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the only other guys I probably consider is probably, Brian Thomas Jr. I think would be a slam dunk, but again, it's a deep receiver class. I would consider Kool-Aid McKinstry just because he fits the mold of corner as far as what Todd Bowles wants. And then maybe you look at Chop Robinson, a pass rusher, but again, ultimate boomer bust pick for Chop. And I don't think he's one that they're potentially looking at because I think they feel like they might already have someone like that on the roster. So I think we're going to go with Jackson Powers Johnson and make it easy, right? Pick is in.
You have a lottery ticket, just take it.
Yep. So we head down to the second round here and see what we got on the clock. So Javon Bullard, that'd be a great pick. He's really good too. Really good safety, would add depth. Adisa Isaac is the other Penn State edge. He's really good. Sanders, the tight end, he would probably be a luxury pick, but wouldn't be bad. Jonah Ellis is a good pass rusher as well. Kind of in that mold of more of a deliberate pass rusher like Latu, where he's got some moves to his game, but not as athletic. I mean, Marshawn Nealon is a popular name as well. The Bucs have a visit with him, so he could be interested. Christian, well, we don't really need interior offensive line now because we got JPJ. So, I mean, just looking through the names, go back to the top. I mean, what were we thinking here?
All right, with this, I mean, also wanted to touch on this. Go scroll up on the 54th pick.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Yeah, a little bit. There you go.
Frazier.
I mean, Zach Frazier was 2 picks gone away. If you're looking at it that way, how far of a difference do you see of Zach Frazier and Jackson Powers Johnson?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? Like some value them the same. Some of them think there's a wide disparity. I would say, like, if we passed on Jackson Powers Johnson, if he's sitting there, it's because they don't think it's that big of a range between him and the next guys below him. So if they could find a way to do that and trade up in the second as opposed to trading up in the first, that's an option. But looking at what's available now, I'm a big fan of Javon Bullard. What else is available? Like, can you check other positions in there? Filter positions?
Yeah, we can look at what we should look at. Look at receiver real quick. You got the Washington guys. Walker's pretty good. You still have Javon Baker, who's that guy's really good. Corley still there. But yeah, a lot of receivers still remain that are pretty decent.
And go to edge. They're all taken.
Edge, you could go with a power rusher like Isaac is okay, decent athlete. Jonah Ellis or Marshawn Nealon would probably be the better picks right now. Austin Booker, not, he's okay. I know Muhammad Kamara is like a big talk as far as favorites. Like he's not real big. I mean, you look at his size. Let's see here, 6'1", but I think he came in a little less than that. So he's not overly big as far as weight size goes. Kind of in the mold of Jose Ramirez almost.
Yeah. Yeah, but they wouldn't do that again.
Yeah. But Marshawn Nealon, I like his game. He's a big dude, power rusher, has some, bend and ability, 6'3", 275. So he's got some weight to him. Good athlete on as far as the combine, he did really good. So yeah, I wouldn't mind him. He makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this guy that can almost play inside and outside based on that.
Right. I mean, you look at the other position, he probably corner. Max Melton is a good player. Yeah. Andrew Phillips is good too. I think he would fit. I haven't really seen much of Kyrie Jackson to tell, but I definitely like these two here.
Right.
There's a couple other guys down the list here.
Wow. There's a luxury pick of tight end, which it's another need.
Yeah, Sanders.
You would do two offense back to back. I don't know. I would think they would go with an edge.
Yeah.
Considering they took Jackson Powers Johnson first round.
Yeah. I'm thinking Marshawn Nealon here.
Yeah.
Go with him. All right. So we'll go with him. We'll go with Marshawn Nealon here in round 2. And then we have 2 third rounders to round it out.
That's a big draft.
Yeah.
That is a big draft. So there was no trades. No trades, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the I didn't pay for this to do the trade feature, so so let's see. We got pick 89, and then we also have pick 92. So got some picks to work with here. Let's see what we have. We have running back we could look at potentially. We could take a guard, another offensive lineman just to beef up the depth. I don't know if they would.
McCormick, wow.
Yeah.
Still available.
Yeah. Brandon Rice.
Hey, Robert Haynes is a backup. Go ahead and draft Mason McCormick.
Dominic Puny is another guy that could be interested. Let's see who else we got. We got some corners, linebacker. There's Ray Davis. So yeah, Michael Hall Jr. I would not mind having. He's kind of in the mold of already what you have in Kalijah Kancey, but he's a quick twitch defensive tackle that can make plays. Marshawn Lloyd I really like. I mean, really, we can kind of pick whoever we want here.
I know
Bucs are set up pretty well.
Gator fans would hate it because Trey Benson's for State, but
he's really good.
I too.
Yeah, he's really good.
He would be a good. See Cameron Kitchens still available.
Yeah, Kitchens is good. He's kind of that mold of that linebacker / safety. Good player though.
I mean, I think Mason McCormick would be a Buccaneers second round pick. To be honest, I truly think that what they would honestly do is they're going to draft best defensive player available. If there's not a disgustingly good wide receiver that they can just use as a nasty weapon, and then second round they're like, okay, Mason McCormick, come on in.
Yeah,
you do that almost every damn year.
Yeah, receiver. Yeah, the only guy I really like is Brandon Rice. I mean, Jacob Cowan is okay. Malik Washington, I've heard of. He's pretty good. Could get Luke McCaffrey. Yeah. All right. So, what are we thinking? What do we want to do here? Do we want to go running back? Let's see is there any tight ends still available? I'm assuming Sanat is gone.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, he's still there. Okay.
Okay, then there you go.
You could go Sanat.
Would you do that with your first third round pick or second though?
It doesn't really. I mean, we're right here. I mean, we can still get a good player at 92. Were we thinking Sanat? I haven't really watched Eric All or Kate Stover. Let's see what the fans are saying.
What do you got?
Tall Florida guy saying Benson.
Trey Benson. Okay.
He likes Benson. Flash Gordon is saying McCormick. So yeah, I mean,
Hopefully, I'm back for the 6th and 7th rounders.
No, we're only doing 2 more picks. So this is going to be it. We're not doing all 7 rounds.
I will be surprised if Ben Sinnott is still available. I mean, based on his athletic
he's
profile.
really good. I mean, I haven't watched Eric All from Iowa. Apparently, he's getting a lot of hype. Obviously, they put him in the rankings higher than Sinnott, so that's interesting. But Sinnott is a hell of an athlete. Did really good at the combine and already a very good player. So I'd be fine taking him if you want to take him.
Go to Eric All. I just want to see what the heck the hoot and hollering is all about.
Yeah. So let's take a look at his size. So he's good size, 6'5", 250, obviously. I don't know if that's what he measured in at, but it looks like he played pretty much everywhere. Only 7 games played last year. Inline, slot, not great numbers.
Right.
So really wasn't utilized a bunch. He was utilized a lot in 2021. So
check the corners. Tall Florida guys checking that one.
Oh, okay. Corners. Yeah, corners. I don't think our guys are there anymore. They must have got taken. Corners, you got some FSU guys. So I know Jerry Jones has been a popular name. DJ James, you could go back to Auburn. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. has gotten hype. So,
I mean, with this, like I would say, just based off of value, I would go like he was saying, Trey Benson. I would look for a running back as Light looks for a running backs, never first round.
Yeah.
Second or thirds were usually where he's going, mainly third.
Yeah.
Trey Benson wouldn't be bad, and that's a home run type of hitter, type of guy, and he's a bigger sized dude.
Yeah.
And Sinnott, I don't know, whichever one of those two you want to go first. I think it would be crazy to kind of add that much speed and versatility to your offense. But these guys, 6'1", 223, and they believe he ran almost a 4.3. It was like low 4.4s, I think.
Yeah, he was 4.39, so he got some good ability there.
So I mean, I don't know which one I would take first, but I mean, you're filling multiple areas of needs in this draft. If you're taking Jackson Powers Johnson, a running back, and a tight end, like as if that's a home run yet again.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go with Benson. I think Benson's the favorite, so we'll go with him at pick 89, and then see what is available. So at pick 92, do we want to go tight end or do
even there? See, it's like, that's the thing. So like the Georgia center is still there too. So like, does he reach with Jackson Powers Johnson, saying that he's that much better than all these other centers? Because there's a lot of good draftable centers in this class.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
He's still there. Theo Johnson's another massive tight end that can. I think he ran almost a 4.5, didn't he?
Yeah, athletic guy.
And he's like 6'6", like a true 6'6".
Yep. Do we take a quarterback? I don't know if Spencer Rattler's still.
Crap.
No, Spencer's gone. Okay, so Spencer went early. All right. That's the only quarterback I would take probably is Spencer Rattler, just because it reminds me a lot of Baker.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But what do we want to do here to finish this thing off?
I mean, to me, I think it's easy just to get a tight end just to complete your offensive draft.
Okay.
Any little nitpicking holes that you need to fill, because defensively, I thought the biggest thing was strong safety. You did that. Yes, you may need more depth for corner, but you just signed 2 depth type of guys. I think Ben Sinnott just plays multiple roles in your offense and be creative how you can use them. I know we've been talking that we're probably going to go more 11 personnel. I mean, what wide receivers are available?
The only one I would probably look at is Jerry Rice's kid, and that's Brandon Rice out of USC, who is pretty good. I think he was in the 4.5s, I think, or 4.4s, but again, good receiver.
Well, Daddy ran a 4.6. No, 4.71, I believe it was.
Yeah, so pretty good receiver, and he's averaged a pretty good high yards per catch. I mean, 17.6 last year. Playing with Caleb Williams, obviously, that doesn't hurt, and he did pretty good. 12 touchdowns last year. Wouldn't be a bad receiver. He's got, I think, decent size. Yeah, 6'3", 210. So he's your typical, possession route runner receiver. As you see here in the description, very smooth route runner. So yeah, I would be fine taking this guy. Also, return kicks. So that brings experience there.
I mean, I know personally I would just take the tight end. One of the tight ends, either Theo Johnson or Sanat, but
Okay.
I'll let you choose this one.
You want me to go with it?
Give me your reasoning.
All right. I'm going to go with Brendan Rice just because not only does he have the legacy, and we already taken a couple legacies and Antoine Winfield, who is really good. So I like that. And now adding another one. Plus, if you guys haven't seen my video, I did talk about the 11 personnel. That's going to be a big thing for this offense. A lot of receivers, and you're going to need depth at receiver. So adding a guy like Rice, I think, would be just good for Trey Palmer and adding competition. And I think tight end is something that they could feel comfortable adding to on day 3, especially they feel good about the group that they have coming back and really not going to use the tight end a whole bunch. So you probably don't want to waste a premium pick on a tight end as of now. So I just feel like Brandon Rice would be a good selection. So yeah, reasoning his last name is Rice. That's exactly right. That's how I'm going to go with it. So yeah, I'm going to do it. Pull the trigger. There we go. And that completes the Bucs draft there, which I think if they could come away with something like this, I think you have to feel pretty happy about. I mean, to get, let me see if I can X this out. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I mean, if you can get something like this right here, I mean, that's a A+ draft already. Going in. Yeah, I mean, it's a solid A. It's an A draft going into day 3. I think that'd be really good. You get a starting offensive lineman. You get Marshawn Nealon, who can be, rotational player, maybe potential starter. And then Trey Benson mixed in with Rashad White. I think that's a good complementary. And then Brandon Rice to add in, depth and also potential starter, down the road. Yeah. I mean, we got a B+, so we'll take it.
A lot of holes filled, a lot of ability and roles to be filled. I mean, it's not like it's. I just think you started the draft with a home run, and you just filled little holes that you needed to fill, like a role players.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be an awesome draft. But
yeah,
how does it fall?
Yeah, exactly. But I think you're just looking at the players that you're getting. It starts with you're getting a really good guy in Jackson Powers Johnson, and then follow that by, just hardworking players. Trey Benson, hardworking dude, Marshawn Nealon. They all have, what it takes, and they know what they need to do as far as, getting to that next level. So yeah, that would be a very solid draft.
Oh, yeah, and then so I guess regarding our draft, Tall Florida guy said corner is still a concern though. So
yeah, definitely. You would probably look corner, probably be your next target, in that 4th, 5th round or fourth round for sure. And then I think for your later picks that you have, you're probably looking at, the tight end, maybe another defensive position like defensive tackle or something like that to definitely round it out.
Yeah, and a lot of this is we're looking at how they were ranked based off of Player Football Focus's.
Right. Yeah. The rankings will be different, I'm sure, by the Bucs. So
I mean, there could have been a crap ton of guys that were in the way of guys where Jason Light's like, oh, I hope he comes to our pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though in the first round, like Kool-Aid McKinstry, like that's another guy that could have been taken if Jackson Powers Johnson's not there.
Right. Chop Robinson could have been high on the board. So yeah.
So again, like I was mentioning, like Zach Frazier, the Georgia center, like there's a lot of other centers. Mason McCormick can play center as well.
Yeah.
There's so many other guys. It doesn't necessarily have to be a center. Like left guard, Angie isn't bad. He's just not the best option to me. But he knows how to line things up. So there is weight to that. So I mean, I just think you need to find some interior upgrade, whether it is center or left guard. I think Jack Powers-Johnson would be a hell of a fit, but is it, like I was saying, is the difference between him and the next guy that big?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that would definitely, I think that's something that they're looking about right now. They're talking about it. They could like Zach Frazier more than, Jackson Powers-Johnson. It's just really, it's who are they preferring? How do they have it stacked up? That's going to be a big thing. But hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll try to do more of those things as we, get closer to the draft, just to, play out different scenarios. This time we did take Jackson Powers-Johnson, and maybe next time we'll change it up where maybe we take the corner first or a different position and see how it plays out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I think that's going to do it for us as far as the live stream. Thank you all that joined us, and thank you for all the comments. Be sure to hit that like button as you help support the channel. We really appreciate that. And we'll have more content coming throughout the week as we get going here and get more, film studies and stuff like that for you guys. It should be a lot of fun. But with that said, everyone have a great week, and see you next Monday for the Real Bucs Talk live stream, and we'll be back.
Woo!